and welcome back to Reactioncast. It's your host Jesus, aka Tyrant Dominus, here to give you another movie review. This time around, we're going to be talking about the American horror thriller Longlegs.
Scary being a lady FBI agent?
Yeah.
Take a nice long look. A letter was left with the bodies. Signed with one word.
He'll kill. And kill again.
I know you're not afraid of a little bit of dark. Because you are the dark.
Now, Longlegs was written and directed by Osgood Parkins, and it stars Michael Monroe and, surprisingly, Nicolas Cage. I did not know he was in this movie until I showed up basically on my seat and the credits starting, not the credits, the intro credits started playing, whatever. So I didn't realize Nicolas Cage was part of this movie. But yes, this interesting like horror film, I've been seeing it circulating and I was planning on seeing it, but it kind of just got set to the wayside. But fortunately, due to some circumstances, I was able to go see this film. Now, this film kind of takes place back in the 70s in the Pacific Northwest, specifically Oregon, my side of the area. For some reason, like the Pacific Northwest always gets these weird horror stuff, serial killer and stuff like that. What's up with that? What's up with that? You know? But it follows an FBI agent named Lee Harkin, like I mentioned earlier, played by Michael Monroe. And I was hesitant at first with this actress. I didn't know much about her, so after watching it and seeing it, I personally have not seen her in many stuff myself. But I think she did a reasonably fine job in this movie. She really gave her performance of this FBI agent with kind of this eccentric kind of, like what they were trying to portray was like this pseudo-psychic FBI agent, which was like interesting. And I'm like, what are you guys trying to do with this character? As they try to find this serial killer known as Longlegs, who's played by Nicolas Cage. And the interesting thing about this specific serial killer is that the families that get murdered and everything, there is really no like indications of like breaking in, and for some reason it's always one of the parents who murders everyone then themselves. And it's like, how is this happening? What is going on? And you go through this, like, what I originally thought Longlegs was going to be was one of these kind of like true crime style films trying to find the serial killer and everything. But then if you see the trailer, it gives this weird occult like thing. It's like there's something demonic or something about it and things like that. Or is it just like that? You know, that style of like horror. But you know, to say the least, the way they like split this film, they literally did it in parts. They literally say part 1, part 2, and part 3. I'm like, oh, all right, keeping it straightforward, easy to understand. All right, it made the film seem more like a true crime in that sense, and I really enjoyed that. I really truly enjoyed that, because it's just like, okay, we know what part of the scene is, what we're getting. The plot line itself was, the story itself was interesting, because you're trying to find out, I'm trying to capture the serial killer, having these weird cryptic messages, and I really enjoy those types of things, kind of like the Zodiac killer and stuff like that. So like they're playing with that, and mostly with this like having the character of Lee Harker, the pseudo psychic, being able to like translate. It's really fun. But the thing about what makes this film really enjoyable is definitely Nicolas Cage. He has very few words to say. Very few times he's on screen, surprisingly, for being a movie of this serial killer. But when he's on screen and when he's portraying, boy, does his deliverance put chills down your spine. Like, I was creeped out, horrified. The first 5 minutes of this movie, I was like, what did I get myself into? This is crazy. That's how well his performance was on this film. I think as a whole, this is a very enjoyable horror movie. Like, definitely towards the end of the movie and the way it's laid out and kind of the MacGuffin of this thing, of the ending, kind of throws it away. So it's not like it's a one-time watch. Definitely it's worth a rewatch, like, along the way. Like, but would I rewatch this like every other while? Not really, but it's worth a watch nonetheless. It might be out of cinema by the time my review gets out, because I did catch it late. It came out earlier July, and it's been a while. It's been a while. But if you're able to catch it one time in cinema by chance, I highly recommend. If not, if it comes to like one of the streaming services, you know, get a nice like late night watch on this thing, because boy, the performances, not only from Nicolas Cage, I was pleasantly surprised by Micah Monroe's performance. I really enjoyed her. Like towards the end of this movie, I'm looking forward to seeing what more will come from her. So I've seen some of the other things that she has performed. I'll be checking those out later. There's a specific movie definitely that's been on my list. It Follows. You might be seeing a review in the near future of that. I know it's a good movie. I just haven't gotten around to see it. But apparently she's in that film, so I'll be checking that one out. But for being this type of film, I really enjoyed this. You know, I definitely, horror is one of my few like specific like genres of films that like I would say one of my top threes. So finding a good horror film is hard, besides campiness or like possible plots. This one definitely had me guessing towards the end, and even with then I was like, whoa, interesting, I see what you went. And the antagonist, the villain, or whatever you want to call it, the way they handled that character and the performance from Nicolas Cage, like I mentioned earlier, it definitely like it gives you the creeps. And I think that's what a horror movie should do. It should like give you the jitters, you know. And that's nothing more I can say than that. It's a fun horror film. It's a fun, creepy horror film. So I really recommend this to all my horror lovers out there, because yeah, it's a brain teaser, you know, or a head scratcher to say the least. You know, it's a head scratcher, but man, it'll leave you wondering till the end, and then you'll be like, whoa. And like I said, first 5 minutes film, it's gonna get you. If it doesn't, something's wrong with you. So yeah, so let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. If you're listening to this on YouTube or Spotify, we're watching this, or if you're listening to this on any other podcast platforms, you can follow me on Instagram, X, whatever, those social medias. Let me know your thoughts directly. So thank you for listening or watching. Until next time, see ya.